We're live! Hello. I apologize for interrupting Shang there. We were just talking about how Jess holds power over the light of the sun. As if you've been reading from Le Dragon Noir. Hey everyone. This is the Dracula Dossier. It is a episode 10 part 2. And I hope you like the new overlay. We've done some minor adjustments on screen. But we are here with good friends getting into our vampire mystery shenanigans. By way of introduction, my name is Grant Ellis. I'm the director of the campaign. And we are playing the highly collaborative, improvisational Dracula Dossier campaign by Pelgrane Press. They've graciously sponsored the show. Check out the links in chat, or if you're watching this video on YouTube, below the video. And also, if you check it out, you can get a voucher for 20% off all Nice Black Agents products. Again, those circulate through chat, and they're also posted typically in the first pinned comment below. So why don't we go around and introduce the cast again today, and then talk about where we're at in the game. So let's start with my good friend Pro Restarter. Hi, Pro. How are you? Muted! They're muted! Oh no! We just, the chat let me know everyone's muted, so that saucy introduction. That was the secret to the universe. Like, there was this difficult math equation that I had been asking all week, and Pro gave the answer, and none of you will know. But, all right.
Forever a mystery.
Alright, so, round 2. Let's try it again.
Yeah, so I hate everything. I'm joking now.
Down with the government!
We were expressing our love and admiration for each other. So I express that again, but I'm hyped to be back playing Day Quan and fighting some vampires. Yeah.
Alright, also joining us and returning, Jess, how are you?
It's me! I'm back! I'm so glad to be back. I missed you all, and I'm so sorry I had to miss last weekend. That was life shenanigans. Totally not as fun as killing vampires or smooching them. I'm Jess. I use they, them pronouns. I go by Burst of Hope on Twitter. And tonight I played Jisoo, who is apparently wrangling up a bride of Dracula. No big deal.
And we will describe exactly how that bride has been wrangled after we talk to award-winning independent game designer, nominated 3rd year in a row, could complete the oh gosh, what's it called?
Trick?
The Grand Slam. The hat trick would be a hockey or soccer, but
cricket.
It's Grand Slam champion Charang Biswas. Hi, Charang.
I mean, if I win again, I would be so happy. But if I don't win, I'm still happy.
Triple Crown winner.
Does that make me a horse? Anyway.
Or professional wrestler.
Yeah, I'm Charang Biswas. I use he, him pronouns. I'm an independent game designer, writer, and artist. And today I will accept. Grant is right. I am a multi-award-winning game designer. Just say. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm playing on Talhuri, everyone's favorite Lebanese, Hungarian, deeply wounded spy who gets all the bad spells thrown at him and is very traumatized about it, but can now do some spells himself, and with Jisoo's help might be able to do a new one. Oh yeah, Jisoo, you missed maybe last week. I nearly learned some new spell work, but I need some vampirology to finish my
Oh, hell yeah.
learning of it.
Let's do it.
But yeah, excited to play another week, especially since we seem to be coming to, not slowly, but like rapidly approaching the like climax, and we've been playing this for a long time now. So
you're about 4 weeks away.
Yeah, I'm excited. I don't get to finish campaigns very often, so this is exciting.
It's always robbed from us. Also, chat, I'm going to drop a link if you're interested. This episode is actually sponsored by StartPlaying.Games as well. They generously sponsored this episode, and if you click on that link, you can sign up for a chance to play Nice Black Agents with me. I'm running the same campaign. No experience required. It's $20 a seat. There's 2 seats remaining, so if you're interested in playing, look for that link and have a good time. checking it out. The seats go fast. I think I posted it 2 nights ago, and they started to fill up within the hour. So, and it's very appreciative of them supporting the show and being fans of our work. When last we left our intrepid rogue agents, Antal Curry and Daquan had traveled to Munich, Germany, where they were investigating a World War II-era bunker beneath the death mausoleum, the Dead House. Within there, they found the German vampire experiment Graf Orlok, Count Orlok, son of Dracula. They managed to strike a deal with Orlok where they promised Orlok they would send him to usurp Dracula and keep him alive if he promised not to kill them in the process. And Orlok hesitantly agreed, but figured the best outcome for him is to take Dracula's throne, all of his brides, and take claim of the castle. They currently have him under lock and key, sealed in a lead-lined coffin, with 2 sun guns, high-powered, solar-esque pistols that will fire sunlight directly into the vampire and disintegrate him from existence. In the Rube Goldberg-esque basement of Herr Fuller, night security guard and general vampire fanboy. He was a hip security guard that they met that was like, I knew they were real! No one ever believed me. Meanwhile, back in London, Jisoo has been keeping Ilyana Dragoy imprisoned in a hotel bathroom where she is currently packed in Romanian soil and mud, while her and the wannabe spy, PhD candidate Margot, are awaiting an arrival.
Disapprove. When Jisoo messaged, I'm going to say in-game texted us about, okay, this is the plan I'm doing, and I'm like, you have to ring Margot. Margot, take that silly professor instead. Margot?
No, heck, no. Mehmet, no, screw Mehmet. Just because you stood up Margot doesn't mean she's not good.
And interesting to note that Margot has spent all of her free time going through the online journals and academic studies of Antal and offering harsh critiques and criticisms, counterpoints.
She's not even a chemist. She's not even a chemist. Slap her.
Which makes it worse. Which makes it worse too. She makes like a bunch of sock puppet accounts, and she's like, "Look, when I troll hard."
Slap
she has this
her,
whole.
slap her.
I'm looking at Margot, and I'm like, Margot.
It's just my space.
I know you academics can be the most petty sorts, but like, please don't antagonize Antal. That's the last thing we need right now.
I have a feeling Margot plays a lot of like Invisible Sun, like,
oh my gosh,
director campaign. All right. Alas, and so I think what we're going to do is begin with the arrival of Daquan and Antal back to the hotel.
In London, you mean?
In London.
Welcome back.
After you've patched Orlok up and left Orlok in Germany.
And let's say we communicate all the info to you, Jisoo, yeah? The fact that we caught this person and all that.
Yeah, Nosferatu, NBD.
Yeah. NBD.
Potentially genetically created, not Dracula's vampire. You know, it's fine.
And also, I texted you on the side saying Daquan and I had a heart-to-heart.
No,
That's true.
you missed it.
You did, actually. You did.
We learn a lot about each other.
Yeah.
That tone makes me question everything. Okay, so you guys had sun guns. Did you have to give up both to secure Orlok, or do you keep one with you?
It would require both.
That's fine. I'll accept it. Okay.
And we only had 2 in total, right?
You did.
Okay, so we'll have to make do with our silver bullets and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We did collect more holy water from Brussels, though. So
You do.
Oh, clever.
yeah.
We are ready to not face vampires, but we're doing it anyway. Go.
So
We're ready to face lesser vampires.
That's true.
we're
not doing that.
Yeah.
Anti-Dracula.
Oh, that's the choice too. It's like, well, we know where the castle is. Let's just go straight to it. Knock on the front door. He comes to it wearing a night robe, and you just stake him in the heart, and he just falls over dead. And like, well, that's one way to end a campaign. No.
What have we done here?
I want to set up an ending like that. They give you all sorts of ideas too. They go, Dracula should maybe fake his death a couple times in the campaign, where he's just show up, make him be like, "Oh no, you killed me," and then he like sneaks off and causes more problems elsewhere. They're like, that is totally the douche move Dracula would pull off.
Has a mini vacation.
Yeah.
I'm dead.
Meet you thought.
I'll be back. So
I in hacker. I need to restore my hacker status. So I text you in code the hotel number that we're stashing the mud bath.
Yeah. What's her code name? What do you call her? Mud Lady or something?
Muddusa.
Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing. Yeah. I have stashed the Swamp Thing. I love that.
I just picture,
and we can say we have secured the film star.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ron Jeremy is in the box. Wrong film. Sorry. Yes. So, I assume there's a knock on the door, and also important to note to chat that while Jisoo was away, Jisoo had acquired information based on the documents secured in Gibraltar by Daquan of two companies, two business fronts. One being HGD Shipping, which is a company that delivers supplies for Edom around the world, and one drop point is an anonymous shipping site, oil rig in the North Sea. And also a second company, Axis Logistics, which is used to acquire blood that is delivered to Romania and elsewhere. That same very same company is used to do that. So that is what she acquired through traffic analysis, digital surveillance, etc.
Nice.
Hacker skills.
Just been like you in like 50 screens with your fingers going crazy.
And like in the old movies, all hacking has these really fancy graphical user interfaces.
Yes.
With like drag
a Unix system! I know this 3D traveling through.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, like Margot's playing Ms. Pac-Man on the TV.
Right. Later on, I'm like, did all those hackers really go to trouble of coding a GUI for all their things when they hack these like bank vaults?
Oh no.
Maybe Jisoo did.
We
It's
take
quite
pride in our
probable.
work. So
Awesome. So yeah, we knock on the hotel. So this is the hotel room where the Swamp Thing is being kept, right?
yeah, she's currently on the bed in one of Jisoo's oversized pajama shirts, watching like pay-per-view. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so she's like, okay, so we knock. And we do a special code knock that just the right frequency and resonance.
Excellent. I love it.
It's a theme to silver spoons. Here we are, face to face, a couple of silver spoons. No.
Y'all are weirdos.
I'm foreign.
All right, but then Margot,
A nod to
Answer-
Margot. Tell her to open the door.
she answers the door. Oh gosh, yeah, it's like if there's any bullets
God.
coming.
Oh,
She
God.
answers, and you're just face to face. Stutters.
I'm very collected, right? I haven't been traumatized in the last 2 days. Just before that. So I'm very collected, and I'm like, Margot, and I walk inside. I don't wait for her to say anything.
No, Margot, you're here. Good.
Yeah, and she's just like,
Good.
Daquan, I've missed you, as Antoine goes past.
Yep. I just walk.
You'll have a secret handshake too.
If I do see Jisoo, question: what do you think is like Antal doesn't hug, right? But Antal feels very strongly for you. So what like affectionate thing would you guys do? Would he do that is like his version of like, oh my god, a huge hug, but he doesn't hug? Unless he's in a character role.
Is it like the European kiss on the?
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he goes and which you realize is like a huge that he doesn't do that. Like maybe Daquan's never even seen him do that, right? Yeah.
Oh, human contact.
Yeah, most of our human contact is like elbow to throat or groin or something, right? So...
Acid to vial.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way of saying it.
It's so good to have you back. I missed you both.
Antal nods.
It's good to see you all right.
You care? Daquan.
Yes, because if something happened to you, that means our prisoner got away.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's fine.
But also, it's good you're all right.
As you can see, prisoner's still here.
And I turn, I'm like, wow, now how many prisoners do we have at this point? How many vampire prisoners do we have at this point?
Scary amount of vampire prisoners. How are we doing this? How long can we keep this up?
We won't have to, hopefully, with the new information that Daquan has provided us with and that we found last time.
Yes, hopefully it's useful and we can finally get the ball rolling. He'll just kind of lean up against like the wall and slap down the folder. Yeah. This is the folder from the German bunker place, Jisoo. So about
a folder. How quaint.
Hey, it all started with a folder, okay?
It's true.
Out comes who is it? Gandalf has a bunch of 3-ring binders and it's just like manually hole punching the documents, putting them in, sliding them into covers, the plastic sheet covers, and then carefully putting them in.
So as we see it, the situation as it is that we have a weapon against the Big D, but we need leverage to wield that weapon, and that leverage is, and I point, the swamp thing.
Yeah, she's in the bathroom. You hear she has like some Evanescence or something playing, and some night. Let's be honest, it's like Nightwish or something.
Life. Yeah. Wake me up!
Is in that awkward vampire stage.
Dashboard confessional.
Do we want to keep her quiet? Like, do we want to keep her out of the loop? We don't want to mention Orlok or the bribery going on there.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So yeah, so we've already texted you, so yeah, we don't have to talk about it and stuff. Okay, cool. So what's our next step? And I'm looking at Jisoo.
Let her sleep. Keep her here. We gotta make sure she doesn't get out, and then I don't know, vampire-proof this place up. For
we and I look at Daquan and I'm like, we used both our UV guns securing our other asset.
Sure, but like silver crosses, parent house trap. What is that movie from back in the day?
Parent trap, yeah. We can rig up holy water that will like fall over when you open the door.
Spritz, yeah.
Apocalypse Now, is that what you're talking about?
Well, I don't want to kill her. Name her and prevent her from leaving the place. If we kill her, then we might as well just kill her now.
Is she going to be transported to the ship? To the Proserpine?
That is the plan, but...
That was the agreement, but is that the correct option here?
Well, from what we found out from Elvis, it seems the...
Oh, Elvis would be there, too.
Oh, Elvis is here?
I point to him. We found out from you, Elvis.
Yeah.
It seems the pyramid is falling, and we wouldn't be able to trust the people there, so I don't know if that's the best plan right now, but...
Are you telling me you got to put together the conspiramid without me?
Elvis would be like, technically the inner details of that would be in that rig. He's like making grilled cheese sandwiches with an iron, like Benny and June style. Just
Oh, fancy.
yeah. He sets the ironing board out, plates.
Lol. Okay, well, are they? And I turn to Elvis, and I'm like, Elvis, will whatever branch of Edom in charge of the Proserpine be sending someone to collect the swamp thing? I love the swamp thing, by the way.
I know, right?
Swamp thing. Yeah, I'm like, Elvis, will they be sending someone? Will we have to like prevent them from taking the swamp thing?
There are individuals that are going to take interest in what's going on. In fact, it's already falling apart. Assuming that the Minister of the Arts wasn't dealt with, he would be looking into this deeply, probably hunting after her with every resource he had. In fact, if Edom gets a hold of him, he will squeal like a stuck pig, just, hey, here's our faces and their names! Hey!
We should.
It was never good.
He's the one we met, right, Grant?
You met him very briefly. He was very braggadocious and annoying.
Right,
like all my
okay,
NPCs
but we have met
game.
him. Okay, so I turned to Daquan and Jisoo. I'm like, we might need to get to him first.
Yes.
Oh. Okay, I mean, we could arrange that, I'm sure.
I mean, here's the thing. If you want information there, we could always set up a fake handoff. Get in.
Standoff. Got it.
A what?
Nothing.
Okay, keep going. Yeah.
We have a fake trade-off. We could do that and get the information there. But my only thing is, and we did this with the actor, like pointedly look at and told the name. We had something that we could leverage to get their assistance. I feel threats and containment is only going to take us so far.
With the swamp thing, you mean?
Yes.
Well, well, wasn't the deal with the actor was that he would be in command of the swamp thing? I don't know how that works.
And it was if the Swamp Thing agreed to it, but I doubt they would. I've been thinking about this in my ride over.
I thought it was an arranged marriage.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know how their relations work.
These are
They're
not humans. Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. But what if... I remember the actor saying that the swamp doesn't have any autonomy apart from what the D can do.
Our code words, like massive code words.
Look, all right, whatever the big D can control seems to have power over the swamp. But if we use the actor to take down the D, and we can convince the swamp that they no longer need an actor, perhaps the whole
the swamp thinks they need the actor? I thought the swamp thinks they need the D.
But if the D is gone, then
and
the actor
takes over. Yeah.
Oh.
But what if it's the swamp?
I worry.
Are we proposing a feminist uprisal amongst the vampires?
I worry about that actually,
yes.
Because the whole point of installing the actor instead of the D was that your agency would be able to then control the actor and the rest of the swamp through the actor, and prevent them going berserk and killing and controlling people. If they aren't, if the swamp isn't listening to the actor, then what's the point of installing the actor?
That's what I'm saying. We take out the actor.
We need hard numbers. We need answers.
Elvis says, I would install the actor, then cue the sun. And he just kind of flicks the lights on and off. He's like, I mean, he's weak and impotent in the daylight. It's true.
I nod because Daquan knows I want to kill all the vampires, but
Yes.
That's his point, and he goes, I think there's some things that you need to know about
Do you
us.
really?
I can't
sorry.
answer everything. He goes, where were you taking her? And he kind of points to this, we'll call it the swamp. It's the bathroom. The door's closed, and you can, like, hear the rhythmic, you know.
evanescence.
Yes.
Proserpine, some factory.
But if we can't trust Proserpine, then what? Then
Well,
can we?
that's not headquarters. He goes, but there's information that has been kept from myself and Nails. And when he says Nails, he's referring to Daquan. That's a code name in Edom for the name of the Duke. And he goes, we typically run guns. We typically are the muscle. We typically eliminate targets that are in opposition.
Daquan's nodding.
Proserpine. That is where vampires are held and kept. That place holds most of the answers as to why Edom would even be involved with these vampires. Do you think they give me that kind of information? No, they let me live if I make sure shipments arrive where they should at the right time. They think I'm dead. They think Dracula caught me and killed me. They will be looking to replace me soon. Proserpine would be a good spot to hold her, but I'm not too sure. They don't have. I'm not sure what state the Proserpine is in. Last time I remember the doctor was there. The doctor scares me. He says you could tell like Elvis is a little fearful about this. Daquan would know that the doctor refers to Dr. Draws, who is the second in command of Edom.
Oh, okay. So out of character, he is suggesting that we go to the Proserpina and find extra information about whatever. Okay.
So we have to assess Proserpine before we drop off
The swamp.
Shang.
Okay, that seems like a good plan to me. I also think we might want to capture the Minister for Culture before he squeals.
He would not be in England anywhere near at all. He would have already squealed, just so you know. But the question is, did he even get to the right person to squeal? You may find out, you may not, because they're not a fan of that guy. No side is, not Dracula nor anyone else. He essentially fell under Ileana's spell, and
Right.
Dracula does not like that. Edom doesn't like him much either, because he's a big mess.
Should we kill him?
I could have said something. Go.
Can we track him down at this point? Is it worth our time?
Is it worth our time? That's the thing. You might be right. We can't hold both the actor and the swamp thing indefinitely.
Should I call someone?
If you spend a
Edom
point
friends?
if you spend a point of streetwise, I'll give you some information on him or tradecraft.
Cool.
Yeah. I'll get character sheet. Yeah, I can do tradecraft. Got one more point.
No.
Oh wait, have we refreshed since last game?
Oh yeah.
You should have all points back for everything now.
Perfect.
Okay, cool. Then
Did we by any chance get any XP after catching?
I think I gave you 2 XP not that long ago. If you didn't mark it on your sheet last time, you should have it by now.
Okay, then if we got XP like a session or two ago, I've already marked that. So
Okay. The essentially the next chance for XP is after the next major plot point, which is either Castle Dracula or the Proserpina, depending which direction you go in. Here's what you would know, spending your point. Ileana murdered that guy before she came over to the hotel. She just straight up, he was like, all right, let's go. And he like packed their bags to go to Turkey. And she bit his throat, sucked down his blood, and was like, all right, I'm full power now. Let's go get my Daria back. And then Daquan
right
her.
before the whole match. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
well, given how she acted when we all met, I don't think he's going to talk to anyone anymore.
And we understand that as code, as spy talk for he is dead.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
You murdered.
Sleeping with
One
the
less.
fishes.
Like, are you sure, Daquan?
I mean, can never truly be sure, but I have a lot of intuition on that. I believe he is.
And I nod. I'm like, okay, well, that's
enough.
unfortunate for him, but at least we have one less weak link in the chain.
Mm-hmm. So we heading to
Gibraltar?
Gibraltar's not the
Short
Proserpine.
Oh,
so
I thought the Proserpine was near Gibraltar.
that's where you
Wait, why are we
learned about
dropping
it.
on Kiwi?
Right, Gibraltar's where we found that
So the
serum.
question is,
yes.
the question is, how do you want to design an approach to it? So this is an oil like tanker in the middle of the sea. It's difficult to get to. You would know, Daquan, there's two ways you can approach. You can approach by a small shipping boat, and Jisoo would be able to locate the dock on how to get there.
Yeah.
But there would be some issues, you'd have to decide, do you want to steal the boat? Do you want to disguise and get on? Do you want to like hide underneath it and like create a little sub that it takes you there? Yes. There's a lot of options.
I
Or
like to use my jazz hands in my disguise, so
I think whoever is going to disguise, I think I'm going to help them. Not with my disguise, but if I can use some fictional positioning, let me know if I can, and just kind of go as an Edom agent. What's the term again? I can't remember.
so there's a couple things. You can be a duke, or
That
you
was it,
can
a
be
duke, yes.
or you could go disguise as what's known as an HMS Proserpina rating, which is essentially kind of like a naval officer. You could disguise you could go as a full duke, or you could go as an officer.
but you are a full duke, but we just don't
Yeah.
want to you're real. You don't want to go as nails, though, right?
Well, I think for this, because like I want to have a chance to use it, and I think it'd be really cool. I think I'll go as like a duke, because I think I'll be able to, like, if something goes wrong, distract people long enough, and also maybe get into areas that maybe we can't.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
shit. Yeah.
I would love to use some cover and make a cover identity that as a disguise that could be useful. What do you think, Jisoo?
You said you want to make a cover?
Yeah, that's my thing. I do disguises and slip into places and then kill them with my bare hands or my chemistry.
Who am I to deny you such an approach?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a 4-point cover actually because this is an important one.
Here's how I describe it. If you've ever seen The Wire, Lester Freeman was like a pawn shop detective for a while that followed the paper trail. One of your covers for years was just tracking like large quantities of data that comes through and looking for anomalies. Essentially, like maybe at like a shipping port, like people are smuggling like human trafficking or something like that, and you're just trying to catch anomalies in the shipping. So you have this cover where like, oh yeah, I've worked the shipyard before. I've worked with the stevedores and
I'm a
dock
cover
worker.
as a freelance data analyst for a speciality like this kind of space, and not just like
shipping
I
and
work for,
receiving.
like,
Supply
it's
chain
not just
operational
like I
excellence.
look at Facebook likes. No. I look at like covert operation data analysis stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm gonna name him. He is gonna be. So I have a French-Turkish scientist. I have a Jordanian prince. So this guy's name is going to be Yusuf Muheri. He is an Emirati data analysis specialist.
Sexy.
I had a friend whose last name was Muheri, so I know it's Emirati.
Very nice.
Perfect. So, and it's a 4-point cover, so hopefully it's a bit better.
Yeah.
I have 2 points left of my cover.
So
Are you using disguise or conceal?
I'm using the cover, which is underneath all the skills.
Right.
And if I need to use disguise, I'll spend that. 4 points is a good cover, right, Grant?
4 points is very good.
Okay, yeah. And maybe there's a really good cover is because I actually am, I do data analysis of stuff for my spy stuff, so it's not far fetched. The Jordanian prince is, a bit more far fetched, right?
But it worked.
It did. Well, sort of. I got mesmerized.
It's created this giant mess that we're in now.
Yeah, it did. But we did catch the swamp thing.
That's true.
Everything's coming up Orlok. So, this is what you would know. There is a small... while HGD shipping typically works out the largest cargo shipping in the Black Sea, there are two small vessels that run around here in the North Sea. You'd have to disguise how you want, or decide how you want to infiltrate that and how you want to gain access to the ship. And we'd have to move you over there. But you do know where it's located thanks to Jisu's hacking.
Okay.
And
should we go
traffic
there?
analysis.
Yeah. Should we go there? I have my forgery, right? And my forgery speciality is official government docs, right? So I could say, like, we have been sent, I'm a data analyst, we have a Duke of Edom, and we have our hacker, our computer specialist, which isn't even a disguise, you are a computer specialist, right? We can say we have orders to go be on that ship, and we don't know why, so, well, we've been ordered.
Good point in that. Some people there know about Edom, some people don't. So, if you are bringing nails, depending on who you talk to there, it may be useful.
Right. Yeah, so I would say, what would you say? 3 of us do that?
Yeah.
I can do so. I can spend some forgery. Oh, but forgery is a information gathering ability, not a...
Yeah, I have 10 points in infiltration.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You're gonna, like, lure one of the soldier boys over and knock him out, and then Luke Skywalker in the Stormtrooper outfit, just a little shorter than
Yeah, I wouldn't mind some infiltration. That sounds fun.
Yeah. So, like, to make it easier for us to go, like, to load, like, the difficulty and things like that going forward, could I set up a, like, a kind of a, like a maintenance overhaul for, like, the computers and, like, every analytic service? Just kind of using my status. So, like, if we're going in, like, we need to make a road to convince people, we have, like, I don't know, reduced difficulty or something.
Yes. So here's how it can work, and I'll let you decide which ability. So it's probably like a military science or something similar, where between this is almost gonna be like a tag team forgery, and military science, where it's like, we have a big bad shipment coming in now, whether or not you bring Ileana or not, and it's like, there needs to be a full inspection, overhaul. We need to bring this vessel down because eyes are going to be on this. If there's any mistake, you know, it's you know, we're all going to be out of jobs or worse.
Yeah. It's people's lives.
Lives. Untal does not say.
There's a lot on the stake here.
Ah, I see what you did there.
I shoot Jisu.
Completely canonically fair.
Lol.
God.
Okay, so infiltration.
Yeah.
Great.
Are we taking the mud or are we leaving the mud?
Yeah, are we taking the swamp thing?
According to Elvis, we weren't sure.
I don't think we should take the swamp thing. It's the longer she's outside and stuff, the more insecure that is.
Here's what Elvis has a question. He goes, what if she gets out? He's feeling very nervous about her being kept here. He's like, I'm pretty sure I could fend her off for a few minutes. I get a drink or two in me, though. Loose lips. I'll tell her everything. He's kidding. He says that with a wink. But he's just like...
funny, Elvis.
I'm like Elvis.
I'm working on my material.
Elvis, I do not want to have to poison you again.
He's been like this for years.
Okay, so you're trying to tell me you want us to tie her up, secure her, and bring her along to the place that you're not sure the status of is securable for vampires anymore?
Do you think it's any more secure? It wouldn't be any worse than this hotel. Before you know it, some cleaning woman's going to come in here and she's gonna mesmerize her. And next thing you know, I'm getting knives in the back.
Okay. We bring her with us.
I see the point, but I am
Cumbersome.
very uncomfortable bringing a bride of Dracula along on this mission.
What do you want me to do with her? He says he's willing to he's willing to concede that. He goes, but you have her. Do you want to send her back to Turkey? And she's like, you can almost hear her. Turkey? You hear her say because that's where she has a castle in Turkey. She mentioned that's where she was trying to flee to.
Goes into the bathroom. She's got a full face mask on. Turkey?
Yeah.
Vampire face masks are made of platelets.
Yes.
Oh, cover her in turkey, damn it.
Shoot her again. I love it. Okay, so fine. We will take her with us and pretend that we are escorting her to the ship.
I guess.
Or
Makes
escorting, like
sense.
we'll seal her in a box and say we're escorting the box to the ship.
It gives our plan some
Legitimacy.
You do know where her coffin is in town. You could take her coffin and insist that she gets back inside.
Yeah, let's do that. Then at least she's not like free and loose walking around, where she can like mesmerize people. She's very swampy, and I shiver because she mesmerized.
If the way you could work this out quickly fictionally is send Elvis and Margot, because Margot knows where it is, and they could go to the docks, get the coffin, and
I pointedly say, Elvis, take whoever else you need to take to get that coffin.
Damn
without
looking at or acknowledging Margot.
Oh.
Margot chimes in. I nominate Antal. He doesn't do much.
I'm just gonna ignore her because I know I could kill her very easily.
She did out wrestle you.
She did out wrestle me, which was a fluke.
It was.
And so I'm just gonna ignore her because I don't want the darkness in my soul to overwhelm me, and I don't want to have to poison her.
Until you are the bigger person.
She thinks out loud. We all had live journals in 2002. He ain't the only one. Yeah.
What were you saying, GC?
I said you are the bigger person. It'll be
physically
okay.
and morally.
Yes.
So I'm gonna say, take whoever you need to secure that coffin.
Yeah, Elvis like grabs her. He's like, "Come on," by the hand, rushes her out the door. Ooh.
And I turn to it. I'm like,
spy
you
work.
don't know how much patience it's been taking for me, or how much willpower it's been taking to not just break her neck.
That's code for not making out with her, right?
And I'm like, I give you a withering look because maybe you remember the footage in the club when I took that random Korean boy and made out with him.
So, Ileana is sort of in an awkward position with you all because she's going to have to be convinced. And it shouldn't be too hard to convince her, but you're going to have to come up with a way to convince her that what you are doing for her is for her own good. Like, she's about at the point where, she's essentially full health by this point. She has her powers back, but there are more of you than her, and she's been separated. You've killed her assign. You've killed all of her dancers. She's essentially had her will broken, more or less. But you will have to convince her, so let's play out that scene.
This is out of character. Jess, just so you know, there are 2 spells that are in the book that I'm nearly finished researching. One of them is to turn into a vampire, and one of them is to utterly destroy a vampire.
I'm sorry. The last I heard, you were turning into mist and warping places. And you're doing what now?
No. So I don't know. I'm not doing. They're rituals. You don't have to do them, right? You have to. I just want to learn them. But the second spell is how to destroy a vampire. If we have an hour or so, if you can help me crack that spell, we could threaten her with that. That is one option.
Okay. I'm game.
What do you guys think?
I don't want to put that as well as a character, is the Dracula wife uprising.
Okay, so convince her that we all want to kill Big D, and we're gonna position you, the wives, to get him. It's convince her
So
that-
like kill Big D with a son, and then kill son, and then put wives in her that, and then like use wives and like eat them shit. And I guess anything that you want to do, I guess, as well, I suppose.
So are we trying to deceive her and convince her we're doing something for her own good? Or are we going to try to tell the truth and it's supposed to be for her own good?
Or are we going to threaten her with this spell?
There's a couple ways you could do that. So here's what I recommend doing. So line it up. Do you know what she wants?
Go back to Turkey.
She wants to go back to Turkey.
Scared of Dracula and wants to go home. Yeah.
She's compelled to obey Dracula, and she is nervous about that. She wants to go back to Turkey. You want to transport her to the Proserpine, right?
Yes.
What if you told her you were taking her to Turkey? Just
That's
think it out loud. Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Okay, what if we do carrot and stick, right?
Yeah.
Right? We say the carrot is the turkey, and this is not code. Well, it's kind of code. Turkey is the carrot, right? We say we're taking you to Turkey. The alternative is we're gonna do this ritual and burn you to ash. Right? And that's two reasons for her to obey to do it, right? That makes sense, right? So if we have an hour, Grant, can Jisoo and I go through the Dragon Noir together?
Yes, I will say this though: it would probably take you more time to finish, but you would know enough to threaten her.
Right. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So Jisoo,
and I would say you know that, yeah.
Yeah, so Jisoo, you probably have to spend a point of vampirology, I think, because that's,
Easy peasy.
that's what we need.
A million.
Yes.
Yeah, I deliberately made a character who knows nothing about the occult and vampires.
I like that.
Okay, and so we do some reading, and I'm like, yes, Jisoo, bunga bunga bunga. Here's the Latin translation, blah 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 blah. Great. And shall we cut to talking to the swamp thing?
Yes.
Swamp thing.
She comes
you make
out.
My heart sing.
You mean everything. So Ileana comes out. She's wearing cheap hotel bathroom robe, and she looks you all up and down. She explains she would like to go home, but what do you have for her now?
Maybe you guys should talk, because I don't want to talk to Ileana. I was mesmerized by her. That is not someone I want to talk to.
She smirks when she sees you in the room.
Yeah, I'm. You know what? I'm reading the Dragon Noir while you guys are talking.
Ooh, power move.
My favorite.
Yep.
I think I've spent the most time with Ileana, so I will try to schmooze her. Ileana, it is no surprise to us that you would like to go home to your place in Turkey. We can make that happen for you sooner rather than later. We just need you to go back into your coffin and we can transport you.
She thinks about it. She says, I will go back into my coffin. And I will agree to be transported to Turkey. And I appreciate that sincerely. But what's the catch? Why would I trust you? You who looked at my beloved Daria so lustfully for so long. She's like scornful, because that was her assign. Right. And with Jisoo doing the talking, she brings it back up.
At that moment, I look up and I start saying, this is an interesting passage in Le Dragon Noir. And I start chanting the first few sentences.
She hears that, she asks you to stop.
That's valid. I see now vampires and humans are not so different in the sense that we scorn shared lovers. To be fair,
when you say shared lovers, she's like so jealous. She's just like, oh, I knew it.
to be fair, nothing we didn't have time for anything to occur, and also I think it wasn't by my choice.
Never
I
is.
was a pawn.
And it's interesting that you note she says that, and that's sort of the difference between her and the vampiric philosophy and your own. She's like, oh, it's never your choice. It is always our choice.
But it's not your fault.
Yes, well, it's like the same as Dracula tricked her. She used to just be a dancer, you know? And then she was corrupted by vampirism. It's a bit tragic, too, you know? She was a prodigious dancer who ended up being conquered by Dracula. And likewise, she conquered Daria, and Daria attempted to conquer you. She accepts the apology, and then she's willing to go. And she understands now, essentially through intimidation. Do you have intimidation as a skill on Tall?
I definitely do. I have 2 points.
If not, you definitely do with it.
I recall knees in someone's nuts very early
Knees
on.
and nuts!
Knees and Nuts is my favorite game in Honey and Hot Wax by Pelgrane Press. I'll keep throwing those out there.
We're going to have Knees and Nuts, and we're going to have, what was the one I came up with? Whatever I came up with earlier.
Smooches and cream.
Smooches and cream.
Smooches and cream. She agrees largely because you have a device that will lead to her destruction. And mechanically, for those that are learning how to play this game, we describe this as a vampires have what is called a dread. Every vampire on their block has a deep fear that will cause them to shake and quake. And in this case, it is being destroyed by Le Dragon Noir.
Okay.
So
yeah, can I just say I love the visual of me being like, oh, this is interesting, and then just starting reading out the destruction ritual.
Yeah, and she's one that knows that you will kill her because she had you mesmerized for a while.
Yup.
Yikes.
Bomb. Okay. I'm done.
All right. So she is secured in her coffin. Elvis secures it with Margot. And then from here on, it's up to... yeah. Margot's like, well, guess I'll be seeing you around. Goodbye, Jisoo. Goodbye, Daquan. Goodbye, Elvis. And then, like, jumps on her moped and takes off.
I'm secretly glad you didn't say bye to me.
She knows. She's like...
Well, one
that
day
is
I
a
will
ticket
poison
type.
her.
Oh, Lord.
Finale. She shows up as the final bride of Dracula, and you're like, ha-ha! Fictional reasoning to murder you!
I was right to not like her. Okay.
Well, this
All right.
time.
So, describe your approach now to... there's a dock, and you are approaching the vessel, one of the small tenders of the HGD shipping, which would be scheduled. It's been closed down for maintenance. These ships still take 20 or 30 people to operate, and you have Daquan, who is an expert in vehicles and stuff. So you would be able, if you wanted to, you could do a preparedness to where you have like a skeleton crew to help get you out there. Likewise,
I haven't used any of my 15 points of network yet.
Ooh, you have
Right.
you have a team of sailors ready to go. Just
Oh yes,
I know.
Sailor.
Red sails, thunder ocean. Red sails, sailor can't look like you.
I wanted my own team of sailors.
Where can you find treasure? Search the world for pleasure. Learn science,
They have to wear, like,
technology.
the white hat.
Shorts, crop tops, and that sailor hat. Yep.
Yes.
In the Navy, we could sail the seven seas.
I have a network, like they are like a sailing captain person who can put together a crew.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna spend 3 points of my network. And what country are we close to in the dock?
You're in England.
Oh, it's in England? Okay. Pro, give me an English sailor person's name, please, since you know English people more.
Blackbeard the pirate.
Yes. Henry Albertson.
Henry Albertson.
Albertson. He's like a grizzled older guy, and he you know what? I'm gonna say networks. I've actually known him from when I was a student.
Whoa.
And he likes me. And then later when I became a spy, he kind of knows I'm a spy. Like I know he knows, but I've never told him. So he knows I'm a spy. But
Willing to do a few things under the table.
Yeah.
Is he like salt and pepper, like middle-aged hot?
Yes.
Oh,
And he
okay.
has his team of like Twinkie sailors.
George
Yes.
Clooney and the Twinkie Sailors.
Yes.
It's like George
Yes.
Clooney and the Lonely Island comedy trio.
Hey,
Just
this is a not depressing, but this is a dark game, so we take joy in the moments we can, okay?
This is our levity.
We have our team of Twinkie sailors.
This is great. It's like all the interns from the Life
I can
Aquatic
sail the
movie.
7 seas.
All right.
Okay, I'm actually gonna write. I'm gonna give more points actually because of the team. I want the team of sailors to also be good. So instead of 3 points, I'm gonna make him a 5-point network.
Ooh.
Because it's both him and the Twinkie sailors. I'm literally gonna write Henry Albertson and the Twinkie sailors.
I request that one of the Twinkie sailors is actually a beefcake.
Okay, yeah. One
Yeah.
of them is a
What?
beefcake, sure, and the others are Twinkie.
Now I need you to describe the quality of the beefcake.
Jisoo, you get to do that.
Oh my. No, I defer this to Daquan.
What?
I feel like Daquan has a better gauge. Beefcake quality.
I'm gonna
Alright,
Google
let me
beefcake
Let me
sailor.
just put on my chef hat real quick.
Let me remind you of Barut.
Okay. Oh gosh, these are some great photos that I put up. I Google search beefcake sailor, and it's just like, oh no.
A daddy, we have a beefcake, and we have like 4 Twinks. I love it.
So yeah, well, what you have is so I think the beefcake sailor is going to be kind of like a slightly thicker Prince Eric from like The Little Mermaid, because like that's the way he's gonna go, and he's
His name is still Eric, though.
yeah.
Okay.
His
Cool.
name is Eric.
Eric
Yeah.
with a K.
So I'm at Henry Albertson and the Twinkie sailors plus a beefcake.
Yeah.
Is what I'm
He's
writing in
he's
my
even
network.
recalled by the others. They call him Prince Eric. Prince Eric. After
Love it,
his
love
piercing.
Ah.
All right. This
sorry,
is the best
Pelgrane.
stream ever. I'm not.
Pelgrane is
And
publishing
Rusty.
Honey and Hot Wax. Don't forget.
Yes. This is what we're here for. We gotta take pleasure in the small things. So,
Or the big
Like
or the big
piercings.
things, or the big
Like the
things,
piercings.
like the piercing. All right. So,
Vampires.
all
Thank
right.
you, Pro.
So this dashing crew of sailors. Now, as you're approaching, and I assume like the vehicle you're approaching in is like a rented church bus. It's just like, all right, this is all we could get, and you have all these Twinkie sailors, the salt and pepper, and the beefcake, and you're approaching. It's kind of like Dr. Teeth and Electric Mayhem in the Muppet movie. It's just we're coming up on the docks. But you do notice that there are 4 armed guards outside of the maintenance. Obviously, this vessel was looked after with great care. You would recognize, Daquan, that they're very clearly... these are Edom soldiers.
Okay.
You would know them as HMS Proserpine ratings.
So Daquan has dressed different because they're going as an Eden Duke.
Yeah.
So Daquan is wearing a full suit,
Mm.
very kind of a tight fitting, shows off the broad shoulders, a V cut with like a flared kind of shirt, and
Just bare
they
chest.
yeah, and on their breast pocket is embroidered 3 nails,
Whoa.
Nice.
and they just kind of walk up
Sexy.
to them, and they don't say anything. They wait for them to address.
That face, I love it.
They look to you, and they're like, ship's closed for maintenance.
Really? Is that what you believe?
Call came in. They're like slow. You notice like there's 4 of them. The 3 of them are just like sliding away, and like there's just the one standing. He's like, "I'll open the door for you," and then he just like turns around and he's like, you know, like it cuts back. You all saw that he saw the breast pocket, looked up, pooped himself a little, and then was like, "I better get that door open," because they ask if you need an armed escort to the vessel.
Not you. Take the night off. You're relieved with your attitude.
Oh!
You over there, you can escort me.
Whoa!
All right, he's off.
Bring up the Twinks.
All right, and
This is my
now
army of twinks and beef.
the vessel is now yours.
You're so silly.
Captain and sailors take command. The beefcake removes his shirt for no reason. Just
Very much a reason. Very much a reason.
Take this oil.
And then you start setting sail based on the quartz, the charts that Jisoo had acquired. You're making your way across. It takes about a day to sail there. Also, you have loaded Ileana Dragoy's coffin on board. Question, did you take Elvis with you, or did you leave him to his own devices?
Why don't we ask him to be in this town where this is, outside, so we can liaise with him if we need to? What do you guys think?
But they think he's dead.
But they think he's dead, yeah. So
Yeah.
he shouldn't come.
Yeah, it would
Good
undermine
point.
Daquan's new
Authority, yeah.
position.
Yeah, let's keep him in the town. Tell him to stay low, but stay on comms if we need like outside support or something.
That'll
do. All right.
Is he better now, or is he still horribly wounded? And remember, he was. I don't know if you saw Jess, but he had like words carved into his back with like a
Right.
He still has those scars.
Jesus Christ.
But is
those
he
are some
like
body
healthier now, or is he still like very wounded and stuff?
He's beat up, but he's had a couple weeks,
Okay,
and he's
good.
been taking some pretty aggressive medications.
I probably cooked some up for him. Yeah.
It's one of those things too where I assume like Jisoo's like, look, this is the Thai self-massage that you do when you fight every day, and you need to learn how to take care of yourself. You need to start watching your diet. You need to start eating fresh foods. And you would send him to market every day, and then you'd make him cook for everyone. You're like, no, you need to discipline yourself to live this life. You're just a disappointment, Elvis. No, it's just one of those things. And Elvis has gone on to become a better person. He's on several 12-step programs.
Does that mean that character development for Jisoo, that Jisoo is a very health-conscious foodie?
I'm absolutely a clean.
Great.
Yeah, Trader Joe's, fuck them. They don't have anything of what I have.
Great. So you're like a very health-conscious hacker.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm going to bring up on stream essentially the structure that is being approached. And I will drop this in the Discord for you folks. I'll make sure I drop it to you and not to my friend Summer from Off the Table. Summer's the best.
Take this map for no reason. What?
That looks really cool. It's a cool rig.
Yeah, it's this offshore facility, this stone essentially rig. They never actually
there's a cage dangling from it. Is that where the vamps are kept?
That's how they capture lobsters, my friend. No, those are commercial lobster traps. No, they do have a dangling cage where they keep some prisoners, but not the vampires that they have to keep under UV light.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm going to drop the picture as well in the play aids of the Discord. So in play aids on Discord, you'll also be able to see a photo. Alas, and you're approaching it. You get a message coming over from the HMS Proserpine, and it goes, no shipments expected today. Abort.
Who's telling us this?
It's coming over. It's a transmission.
Okay. Sorry. I was gonna say Daquan should do something.
I'm like, you're like, Daquan, do something. I'm like, I'm doing
sorry. I got excited.
Daquan hears this, picks up the end, and just kind of talks back and just says, "This is Duke Edom X9 5 Alpha, codename Nails."
And his twinks.
They come over, they go, do we hear twinks over there? No, no, it comes over, they go, good day, Duke. You're not scheduled for shipment today. Is this some kind of emergency? What's going on? We need information fast. They might open fire on you, and I can't stop them.
Could I have forgeried like a code
A signal to send over?
Yeah, 100%.
Spend those points.
So,
did you get off facts?
okay, I have a point in forgery, so I'll spend
We don't know how to work the
that.
machine.
I'm gonna say, because forgery is a technical ability, I'm gonna spend both a forgery and a digital intrusion to make it legal or whatever. Because forgery is technically a information gathering ability, investigative ability. So.
Okay. So they get the transmission. What did you want it to say exactly? You could even tell them that you're delivering a vampire, and
yeah,
they would get very excited.
What should we tell them?
The truth. They were delivering the woman, right? 'Cause that's what they wanted.
But remember that that Elvis said we don't know if we can trust them with that. So maybe you can say you're not the right security level to know what we're delivering, but here we have this permission.
They will.
Okay.
They'll send it up the chain.
Oh.
They said they'll send it to the commanding officer if we're not classified to hear it. And then they explain. They say she's listening.
I just turned to Daquan like,
We're here. We're here to deliver as needed. We need a full detailed access in.
Also, I guess I can tell this to chat too. Also, remember the original reason to go to the HMS Proserpine is you learned that Hopkins, who actually gave the Dracula dossier to you all, is being held prisoner there and is going to give up all of your identities, all of your locations, because they're attempting to break her.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
That.
I did as well.
I'd forgotten that. I thought we were just going to gather information, but I totally
Yeah,
That's what
'cause
everyone
that's-
remembered. That's why I was just like,
Okay.
Damn it, Daquan.
I'm sorry, I thought you all knew.
Yeah, good. So
Sorry, spy games, that's the problem. It's like hard to sometimes remember all these cool layers and layers that we're trying to do. It's so much easier to be like, we're here to kill the dragon, right?
here to smooch the dragon. Smooch the Dragon is a game in Honey the Hun and Hot Wax. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, because out of character, my reasoning is that if we, I know they want it, even though we know we can't trust them, Elvis was just like, she's going to get out anyway, regardless if we keep them or not.
Right.
So my idea was that as we're transporting them in, we like can look for the documents that were hidden there, and then we can look for the guy who's going to give us a...
So like we, the two of us, Jisoo and I, can maybe slip away, do all this finding while you take charge
distract people
with your officialness. Yeah. Okay, because Jisoo and I are good at infiltration. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I have no infiltration.
They're granting you access, and that's what they said, because they realize you are holding Ileana Dragoi. They say this complicates things, but the doctor says she'll take the patient. Sort of like that. This is their code talk, where they're like,
our code talk.
And they kind of throw in there, they're like, we don't have any spare beds, but we'll have to make do.
I roll my eyes at their terrible code talk. I'm like, I prefer Swamp Thing.
I'm sure a room can become available.
For such a high-profile patient.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. So should we... Yeah, so good point. Jess is saying, should we ask them to see Hopkins, or should we sneak? I think because Daquan is the only one who can ask things, and we're going to have to do separate things, I think we should sneak. They're not going to listen to us asking. They'll only listen to the dude.
I will say this, if they catch wind that Nails knows about Hopkins, they would probably become very suspicious.
Yeah.
Right.
Nails is sent to kill people, and they're like,
Yeah.
I'm here to not kill anyone.
Nails is like me, right? Like, both of us are sort of assassins, right?
Yeah.
You're the weapon specialist, I'm the poison specialist, right?
Yeah, I snipe people, you poison them.
I poison them and disguise. I'm foreign.
Me
I'm
too.
really foreign, right? I'm Lebanese Hungarian. So maybe Jisoo, then the two of us should go sneak while Daquan does bureaucracy.
I'm about it.
Am I being too bossy, you guys, in today's
No,
session?
I love
No,
this.
no, it's good. I think it's
Keep me away
it's
on
good
top,
direction.
please.
And that was out of character. Am I being too bossy? Antal would never ask that.
Oh, okay. You're fine.
Antal would just tell you to do things, but
Yeah,
that was
fair.
Charlotte asking.
You're doing good.
So, you get a message back that Duke Nails, the doctor, would very much like to see you and inspect the cargo. She's willing to come on board, but she says she's kind of in the middle of seeing a patient right now, so we might have to find a middle ground. So we'll have to... She gives you instructions that on the second deck, there's a cell that your cargo can be delivered to.
I'm going to amend that, and I'm going to say, that's fine, but we need a high security detail around this place. Get all available extra hands that you have to secure the area.
Are you spending? What point are you spending? Because they'll agree to it, but let me know.
So I'm gonna spend bureaucracy on this. As a,
oh my god,
this
bro,
is,
that is so smart.
They're doing it. They're getting them all.
Almost as though you've done games before.
No, intrigue. What?
So, you dock on the HMS Proserpine, and all the armored suits come out. Yeah, I love chat too. Ozzy in chat, he's like, Antal's ancestry changed from scene to scene. I wonder how many passports he has. It's like, well, he's got all those disguises.
He's also a forger.
Yes.
From every country.
And essentially, you are going to be met on the deck. There are several. There are several individuals. You know, there's about 30 soldiers that come out, and they're targeting your vessel. Like, they just have weapons ready, understanding that they're not targeted at you, they're going to be targeted at the coffin. And then you have an array of twinks and a beefcake, you know, bringing out the coffin.
Yay, my favorite phrase, an array of twinks.
An array of twinks. And yeah, they're bringing it out.
Do they have UV guns and specialty vampire equipment, I hope?
Oh, they do not. Not at all. Not these folks.
Oh, damn. Well,
you got your stuff from a special engineer.
Right.
They will have. They have
silver at least.
They have ways of containing folks here. So I'm gonna pull up a picture then of the doctor who is going to come out. So I'm gonna both put this in Discord, and I'm going to bring it up for.
You're so good at readying all this media, Grant. It's so cool.
It's a lot of prep.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I have a question, Grant.
Yes.
What's mine and the doctor's relationship?
Well, here's what you know.
Do we like each other? Do we not like each other?
You never get to meet her. You've never seen her before. And it is a her. She's younger. She has red hair and green eyes. And she's very matter of fact. She looks, even though she hasn't slept in days, that this is just the way she lives her life. Hair is down.
And she is the second in command of Edom?
Second in command.
Oof.
And, of note, you know that she would be known as Dr. Draws. But any of you that have an occult study or a vampirology might get a little more information out of her of who she is.
Jisoo.
Yes, let me squeeze her.
You squeeze her, and this is what you learn. She is very clearly Dr. Jacqueline Seward, a legacy, a descendant of Jack Seward, who was in the original Edom investigation squad that attempted. In fact, she is the one who engineers the Seward serum that the Jacks, etc., have been using.
The one that we have a sample of. Yeah.
Yes.
Only a little dark and twisty. doctor.
Yes.
Used loosely.
And she looks at you, Nails, and at this point, a question for the other two, Antal and Jisoo. Are you going to attempt to slink around and find your way around the HMS Proserpine?
That, I think, was the plan, yeah.
Why wouldn't we?
You would have a layout. There are things that you would have. Oh gosh, am I going to have to bring up this nonsense? Sorry.
The sneakening.
The sneakening. You are currently on the top level. It's going to be
map.
difficulty 6. I have dungeon maps for this entire vessel. It's interesting. I prepped them like 3 or 4 times. The maps are really good.
Why am I not surprised
Yeah.
at this quality of prep?
A, quality of prep. B, quality of product.
That's true.
Hey. I'll drop that in chat for y'all if you're interested in the Dracula Dossier and you want a voucher for 20% off. There it is. It's a collection of mini books and titles. It's gonna be an infiltration check. So describe what abilities you want to use. And this is, you're in confrontation mode. People are on alert, even though they're focused. It's only going to be a 4 to get past everyone. The doctor's not looking for you all. Essentially, there's a couple of people that are extra suspicious if anyone's sneaking around. Because anytime twinks come on board, they don't like to let them go under deck. They like to keep them above ground where they can...
Visible
Visible at all times.
Of course, I totally understand. Jisoo, do you want to spend yours because you have a bit more right now?
Oh yeah, easy peasy. Through infiltration, surveillance. What do we
Let's
want
just
to do?
you have 10
Guys.
infiltration, right?
Yeah.
What's your cherry for infiltration? What does it do for us?
Well, as we pull out the book to
Yes.
speak of the prep and we open
Exactly.
Sorry, was that bad to ask?
No,
it up... It's
no,
not bad
I
to
just-
ask, but it's good
I
to know.
never wrote down my. I forgot I had 10s and anything, so I'm like, that's a valid question.
Yeah, and
Open
what's
Sesame
your-
is it? I've got it. You can't
Perfect.
see it here, so it's called Open Sesame. If your infiltration is 8 or more, you can automatically pick or bypass any normal commercial door lock or alarm without a test. Many locks require specialized tools, etc. Complex or tricky locks may still require tests, but essentially what I would say in this situation, if you want to use your cherry, you and Antal get to do a little slippity slip.
Ooh!
Slippy slip.
Yeah, I'm like overwhelmed by all of the twinks and singular beefcakes. I'm like ready to slip away and do our job and refocus.
I'd love to slip with some of those twinks. Anyway.
Singular Beefcake was my emo band in 1997, so it's... Sorry.
One man emo band, Singular Beefcake.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay,
I
let's
think now would be a good time to use my infiltration cherry.
love
Dun,
it.
dun,
Love
dun,
it,
dun,
love
dun,
it.
dun. And it
Uh,
totally works, and you're able to slip past everyone.
And remember how Antal, the first time you fought and held your ground, was really surprised
yeah.
and impressed because I was like, I thought you were just a hacker. Same thing here. I've seen you digitally intrude a lot, right? You're amazing at that. But now you're like, and I'm like, my goodness.
Yes, it's me. Hello. Hi,
I'm
Antal.
like, Jisoo, you keep showing me these hidden depths.
So, Dr. Seward is asking for you to help her. Just you, Nails, or Daquan.
Okay.
She needs you to help her transport the coffin, and she sees the twinks and the beefcakes. She's like, escort them back to that vessel. And she doesn't trust anyone else to handle this coffin except you being a duke.
Right, that makes sense.
Where did you find her?
The opera.
We'll need extra personnel though, just to be safe. There's a wife.
You notice it's just she like denies it, and she's like, nope, just us, and she is in command.
Yeah.
That is fine. That's what you wish.
Throw shade.
I
throw
found
shade.
her in London at an opera house. It was quite surprising no one else had realized what was going on.
This
Yes,
is the
throw
dancer.
shade.
That's what she says. She goes, so this is the dancer. She says, I've been occupied, and you and her are kind of, carrying the coffin
Walking and
together.
talking, yeah.
It's not that heavy. Ileana Dragoi is probably like soaking wet 101 pounds, maybe. She's a little tiny, dancer. And she was very young when she died. And
tiny dancer.
Hold her closer, tiny dancer. Yeah, she's bringing you through, the dark hallways, and she opens the door to a room. In the room, you notice strapped to a chair with a UV light blasting her is a beautiful woman. She is strikingly gorgeous. She would put Ileana to shame, and Ileana is one of the most genuinely beautiful human beings that you could see.
Human beings.
Yes, or human beings that you could see. she's a little different, but she's trying. She goes, "We only have one chair, and we only have one special cell. So, how had you been containing her? Very specifically, and as this bound creature looks at you, she is also a vampire. She is also a bride." I'll bring
is
up
she
the
like
photo.
can you tell? I mean, I'm not there, but is there like a higher rank bride because she's more beautiful? Is that a thing?
Well, she's not as young as the other one,
Ah, okay.
but
I'm struggling to compose myself. Jesus,
know.
like,
With all these twinks, beefcakes, and like gorgeous brides, what is the session today?
well, this
and us. Don't forget us.
it's true. This is
Yeah,
just one
And if
Yeah,
you
the
want to
main
see
course.
us, remember, Jabari Weathers has made amazing images of us, and we're super hot.
it's
They're
true.
amazing. This has been the episode of Thirst, everyone.
Yeah, I'm dropping her in, but
So that's the captive bride.
yes, and essentially, there's a whole story that goes with her, but she's
She asked me how I've been keeping Ileana.
mhm.
I say, well, after we destroyed her chosen and took her down in close combat, she was weakened and able to subdue. It was quite easy, actually. I'm surprised it hasn't been done sooner.
Shade. Throw more shade
So-
at her.
she goes, interesting. You notice the blonde-haired bride begins to speak. Does your character speak German?
Have we been to Germany yet?
You have.
We have been
Yes,
to Germany.
and,
Yes, last session was Germany.
Yes, I took German.
Yes, I did not, and you did exactly. I
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah.
As she speaks out, and you hear her saying in her perfect German, it's a very it's her seductive chest voice where she's mentioning her say, "You've been with cousin Orlok. I can smell him on you.
Uh-oh.
Is he here?" That's what she's saying in German. And Jacqueline Seward, the doctor, tells her, "Quiet over there." And you also hear she's not just secured in a chair. There is a glass wall between you and her, thick too, like bulletproof, because it's one of those things where she's set this up where she's like, "Look, at any point if that vampire gets out, we're in trouble."
I look to the doctor and I just say, "What's wrong? You don't speak German?"
Well, no, she knows it, and then she goes. She looks at you, and she's like, she's getting very suspicious because she heard it, and she's like, she's heard the name Orlok, but she's like, wait, the Nosferatu? What's going on here? And she's starting to feel,
Uh-oh.
yeah, she's starting to feel antsy, almost very uncomfortable, and she kind of looks at the coffin, and she asks you to open it.
You
Well,
want
the
me
good
to
thing
open
is
it?
Nosferatu is not in the coffin, so we're kind of...
Nosferatu's not in the coffin, but
Right.
Ileana Dragoy is.
Yes,
Not-
so we're a bit
it's-
safe there.
And I just want to know, for the chat and for the players, brides of Dracula don't normally run into each other. This could get scary.
Oh, this is exciting!
Yeah.
Make sure the twinks are safe. Put the twinks away.
They're back on the ship.
They're back on the ship, partying with the Edom soldiers that brought him over. They're like, "Hey, this is the fun vessel."
Ooh, buddy.
Damn, we're missing it. Jisoo, we're missing it.
Oh, it's okay. We'll be okay.
So I say, no need to get so antsy. I've been looking into this. That's been my mission, remember?
Yes, She turns around, and you see her turn around again, and she has a massive drill. This is like a hammer drill. You see her put it right over the coffin and go boom, straight down in, and it comes out and just it's covered in blood. And you hear a scream from inside the coffin. And then she says, "I want to show you something." She brings you over to a wall. There's a lot of petri dishes and things like that. She holds it over one. There's like a small green substance, and then she kind of flicks it, and she goes, "Look into the microscope." And she puts her, hands up. She's like, "I promise to behave." Drops the drill on the floor.
It's a drill. I don't fear it. And I'm gonna look in.
You see the red specks of the vampiric blood, and there's another color in there. It looks like a green and yellow mixture, and you see just the red blood kind of go over it, and then it turns clear in no time. She says, "Do you know what's occurring there?"
No, but I'm sure you're going to tell me.
"I just cured cancer." And that's what she's explained. She says, "Those were cancer cells. We have eliminated them. We can use these vampires to solve some of the greatest plagues of all existence. It is very important that we keep our research going. This individual you brought to me, I created her. I introduced her to Dracula. I made sure that she was converted into a bride, and there are other people I need to introduce to Dracula and convert them into brides, husbands, twinks, if you will. Promotions to the vessel.
No, not the twinks!
Not the twinks! We must keep this operation going. We need to scale our operation."
Dakon looks at her, and I think Dakon's been kind of obvious, especially with their speaks with Antal, of their idea of what they can do with Dracula and things like that. So Dakon kind of looks at her and just says, "You're talking to me as if I don't already know that this can be beneficial to our position. My problem, Doctor, is you and your lack of control with Dracula has caused us in this situation. That is the problem."
And she goes, "Oh, that's not my problem. That's her problem." And she kind of looks up, and you see an organization chart, and there is a D in quotes above Dr. Draws. So there's that, then there's Dr. Draws, then there's all of you dukes, and then she's like, it's funny, your picture's pending. No, and it's just kind of not the best photo. She goes,
the cameras were down that day.
Yeah, she's like, "It's not my fault, it's the others." And then you notice the blonde-haired woman's and she's speaking in German. "Who's in the box? I very much want to see her."
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
So we've established that the brides are insanely jealous, supernaturally so. So
Okay.
this is gonna be exciting.
And I think Orlok wants to date them all.
Yeah, Orlok wants to be the Uber Polly.
We're lacking some conversion here.
Yeah, definitely.
So Dakon says to her then, "So what's your plan then for Dracula? Because staying in this laboratory isn't going to fix the problem that we have."
Well, the way I hear it, there is a series of documents, a series of information that had been leaked by someone out in the world. And if we can find out where they ended up, it might give us some clues as to how we can, manage, what shall we call him? The Big D. And she motions, cut the camera over to Jisoo and Antal sneaking through the ship.
Yes.
All right. So you are in the lower deck. In fact, you are in the lowest deck, just above the water. It smells briny and foul down here. But alas...
I love getting smell descriptions, Grant. It's always really fun.
The question is, where do you go? So you've come down to the lowest of the low. You've passed what would be some barracks, and there's the hallway continues forward. There's some iconography. There's like a chapel down that way, and then it branches off left and right. One, it has a fang, and the other way it has some stakes.
Can I use tradecraft or something to figure out where the prisoner might be taken?
You can. You know that she would be held with the stakes, not the fangs.
Okay. So I nod to Jisoo and I'm like, what's her name again? The person?
Hopkins.
Hopkins. So I'm gonna say her code name is gonna be Hannibal Lecter.
Whoa. That's a choice.
Yeah, Hopkins. So I'm like, I just call it the cannibal. It's shorter, right? So I'll be like, the cannibal is that way.
Okay, that tracks. How do we know if she's guarded or not?
Do we want to sneak forward or send a camera? Do we have gadgets? Can we use a gadget?
You would have to use your preparation.
Yeah, I can always
like a little crawling clone.
I have some electronic surveillance.
Yeah. Send the gadget. We haven't used gadgets, so that's one thing we haven't done a lot in this spy show. We haven't used gadgets, so
only your sun guns.
Yeah, apart from that.
Yeah,
right.
I mean that's my thing, right? Like,
let
me rig some stuff together. Get a little nanobot.
All right, so you rig up your nanobot. I want you to either, what skills do you have that you would describe would be most common to use here? Because it could be mechanics, it could be a technical thing, it could be a preparedness, something you've set up in advance.
Excuse me. I would say definitely
electronic surveillance.
Investigatively, yeah. I have plenty of electronic surveillance in terms of like general abilities. I definitely have preparedness, and I mean, me being the wire rat, I put in a bunch into mechanics as well.
All right.
So, got a 6 in mechanics if that's what you want.
Yep, it's going to be a difficulty 3
Nice.
to get picture. It's going to be a difficulty 4 to get picture and sound.
Okay. Well, I'm not as worried about sound, but that's totally a bonus if I can get it. So you want me to roll? You said difficulty what?
3.
Okay.
3 for picture.
I'm riding a high off of Antal, really enjoying like being impressed by my infiltration skills. So I really want this to work for me. So I think I'm gonna spend 3 of my 6 mechanics points.
Nice.
And,
to get the first auto success, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna make that happen for me.
All right.
I mean, just in case. Yeah, glad I spent those points.
All right, totally works. And you send out your little spy camera. It goes around. It's kind of peeking around, and it comes to a pair of cells. You see a familiar face in there, and a beautiful face that you have never seen before. So I'm going to bring this up for chat in the audience, where there is a Duke of Edom known as the Hound, who has been looking for our player characters for some time, and another individual who was a GCHQ, which is a British intelligence agency. operative who was the one who came into possession of the Dracula dossier and had it leaked to the player characters.
Gotta say, I'm loving these like authoritarian ladies in this organization. They're like really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to rescue the other lady. Do we need to neutralize the hound?
I feel like our future selves would thank us for it, but I don't know if we have the capacity to do that right now.
I could. We both have some preparedness. We could have some poison on us.
You and your poison.
Some like not poison, but like sleep draft or something.
Sure. I'm about this.
Yeah, could I spend some preparedness grant to do that?
Yes.
Combined with some of my forensic, my
chemistry. I would just say straight preparedness.
Great. Okay, I only have 1 point though, so let me roll preparedness +1. Where's my thing? Okay. Backslash. I rolled a 2.
Okay. It would be mild, and here's what I would say. It's one of those. It's about as strong as NyQuil, and it's one of those things where if you put it into a beverage or something like that, you could probably make someone a little groggy.
Okay.
But you know she's not too far, and she's currently what we'd refer to as conditioning the captive.
Okay, can I do the Mission Impossible thing and pull on a different face mask with my disguise?
Yes. Who do you want to be disguised as?
Please do.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend 2 points of disguise. Do this.
Can we do it together? Can we like synchronize our disguise pulling? I want to be a different person.
Grant, can we do that? Or do we just roll separately for that?
I'd let you do it together.
Okay, so if I spend 2 points, how many points do you want to spend, Jisoo?
I'll spend 2.
Okay, so I'll just add 4 to this roll. +2. Nice!
Okay. Perfect.
Oh, that was +4, not +2. Sorry.
Yes.
So we actually got a 9, not a 7.
So, describe who you look like.
So I am going to, so I have maybe like I put on. I look like a like low-ranking person who would work on this ship, and I want to like take her a drink.
Man.
Like for you, madam, while you're conditioning the prisoner.
Yeah. In fact, we could even say it's one of those things where because this doesn't have to be exactly moment to moment. It's one of those things where she sent in a call while you were sneaking around. She's like, okay, bring in lunch. Bring in my meal. I need to eat it in front of her because she's very thirsty. She's very hungry. This is part of her interrogation. She'd be like, I get to eat and drink. You sit there hungry and thirsty. And it's one of those things where you are bringing in, I think fictionally, that's one of those things. So you're not just like, coffee, madam? It's like, there's your first week? Yeah.
Are my arms glowing, you guys?
They are. It's beautiful.
Yes.
It's the sunlight. It's the sunlight.
It's great.
Okay, yeah. So maybe we're carrying a tray or something. The two of us. Well, Jisoo, would you be disguised in a similar way?
Yes. I'm actually gonna drop in. Like, this is my peak moment. I've only wanted this. If anything, if nothing else came out of this campaign, I really just wanted to exist in the disguise of, if you've ever watched a very niche show called Nikita, I want to be.
Oh yeah. My dad loves it.
We only talk about the first like 2-ish seasons, but I absolutely put on a face disguise to look like Nikita, and I just as I pull it in, you just rein it in. I'm like, I'm sultry. I'm cool.
Yes.
I'm a badass.
Yeah, so maybe I'm the like chef person, whatever, and you're the bodyguard because we're going into the cells where dangerous prisoners are, right?
Hell yeah.
So you have to keep an eye to make sure whatever doesn't happen. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Okay, so yeah, we knock on the cell door.
She explains. She goes, "That better be lunch. If it's not, I will shoot you."
Lunch, madam. And just to be clear, I have put the sleeping draft into it.
Okay. She says, "Sounds like there's two of you. Open the door."
Yes, madam. They sent a guard with me. I do not know why, but they sent a guard with me.
"You're very good at this," she says. And then she says, "Guard, open the door for him."
Of course.
And there's a short, attractive woman with dark red hair, who, athletic build, and then she has a young woman who's essentially looks like she's being put through her own personal hell.
Is she alive and conscious?
Everyone is alive and conscious in this room.
Good to clarify. Everyone in the scene is currently alive.
Yes. Well, in Pro's scene, there's some undead individuals.
Right, true. There's some unconscious and non-alive people. Okay, so I remove the lid of the tray. You know, it's a lidded tray, of course, to be fancy, and I like brandish it.
She goes, "We'll leave it on the table."
And I am gonna say, "Oh, it will, madam. I recommend you eat it quickly. It will go cold." And
she kind of walks up to you. You know, she kind of she's over. She goes, "What's your name?"
You don't need to know his name.
Andres.
Don't worry about him.
And then she looks at you. She goes, "Who's the boss of who?" And she like swipes the crop across your thighs, and like takes the tray from you before you drop it. She's just like, "Look, I'm a duke here."
I'm totally like a crop across my thighs isn't very strong, so I'm gonna feign that I got hurt.
Well, it typically wouldn't be, but she's a master of the wrist action.
Oh,
and it's one of these things.
True.
She's technique, and you can tell she wasn't doing it maliciously. She's doing it more playfully and flirtatiously, even. And
I'm like, "Sorry, madam."
She sets it up, and then she's going to drink. And
Okay, yes! Take the draft! Take it!
As soon as the first drop touches her tongue, she spits and she throws it. She goes, "What kind of toilet coffee that they serve in prison are you giving me here in this stone prison?"
Whatever the kitchen has.
"I demand Turkish!" She demands your exact same favorite. She goes, "Come on, let's make it." She's done here. And she actually takes you on tall, and she's like taking you to like the kitchenette area so you can make Turkish coffee together, and leaves Jisoo with Hopkins for a second.
Okay, hurry up. I love how the sleeping draft didn't work, but the fact that it didn't work is what made us able to do this mission.
Nailed it.
She's talking to you. She's like, "Do you know how to make it?" So, how are you handling Hopkins?
You said Hopkins is conscious, right?
Hopkins is conscious. In a daze, in almost like a fugue state.
Sure. I kind of like softly pat her cheek, and I'm like, "Do you know who I am?"
Nikita? When she hears your voice, though, she goes, "Jisoo?" She's very familiar with who you are. That's why she leaked. You don't know who she is very well.
Right.
Yes. Glad you can recognize my voice through the disguise.
She's like,
"We need to get you out of here."
"We've got to get out of here." They have everything, though.
What do you mean everything?
The entire operation. If we get to the control center, we can download it.
Okay. I mean, we physically or a something hacks into it?
She goes, It's walled out from the rest of the system.
Okay.
They've been keeping... The doctor's one of two individuals that keeps tabs on his entire operation. Everything from Romania, the United States, London.
Well, quickly. Can you lead me to it if I release you?
I can certainly try. And then she if you release her, she will kind of weakly steer you. Now, you'll have to do your sneakity sneaks. Meanwhile, on Tall, the Hound is asking you, do you know how to make Turkish coffee?
I do, right? I'm telling knows how to make Turkish coffee.
You are the best in the world
like
at
you would
making
have
it.
scoffed at that.
You have a YouTube channel where you explain, but you had to take it down when you became spy.
When I was drunk, the same night that I got my nipple piercing in college, I tried to make a YouTube, and then when I woke up the next day, I'm like, what was I thinking?
It was a Periscope that got bootlegged.
Yeah, seriously. But I'm a good disguiser, right? So I'm like, yes, madam, I was trained I trained in. I'm gonna give a country, Kuwait. I worked for the Emir.
She's like, interesting accent. Where are you from?
My family is from all over the Middle East, but I did spend a lot of my time in Kuwait. And you know what I say part of that in Arabic as though like, are you familiar with the Middle East?
You notice like, she is, and she responds back in Arabic too, and she explains how it's a beautiful language and not enough people are speaking it. It's particularly not in Edom. She's like, they whitewash everything, and she says. And
I start asking her like, aren't there a lot of dukes who are Arab or something?
You kind of get the feeling too after talking with her a little bit, like she's part Lebanese and like.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is almost like a little Bond thing.
Yeah, so I'm like, and I spent part of my family is also from Lebanon. Like I spent a lot of time in Beirut as a child. I always say shawarma is only true shawarma in Beirut, in the street corners of Beirut, where you get the real shawarma. Everything else is fake.
She agrees entirely, and she explains. She goes that the issues that she's had. You know, she spent 12 years in New York, she says, and you know, it's great, it's wonderful. She's like, the brunch game is very strong, the coffee game could be better, and the shawarma, they like to boast and they like to brag. Better, it's not as good as their pizza. And with that, we're gonna cut back to Daquan.
Yes, I love how Daquan distracting. One way I'm distracting by talking about Lebanese food, while Jesus, I get the information.
It's a move.
Meanwhile, yeah. So Dr. Draws is explaining, and she's like, our leader is fully responsible for everything that occurs with Dracula. And she explained to us that we need to get him back under control. Proves difficult. He's got brides running amok all over. There's some rogue agents that seem to be a thorn in everyone's side, but, you know, we've stuck Elvis and Nails on them. They'll be dealt with. Understanding that you're Nails, you know, she's kind of... It's one of those things where she's known several Nails. You're not the first one. Yes, and so she kind of explains that it's we will get this back under control, but the most important thing to her is that the work continues. We must cure these diseases. The vampires are the only way.
Yes, I agree with you, but is Dracula really the one that needs to be on the throne? When an asset becomes too volatile, you burn the asset.
She thinks about it, and she goes, well, who else could we put on the throne?
Well, you just heard the bride over there talk about someone called, and I forget his name,
Orlok.
The boy.
Nosferatu, yeah.
Orlok.
She kind of scoffs, and she's like that one, a pale German imitation of a true masterpiece. With that, Arlon stands up. And, you know, on the chair, she leans forward, she's strapped, and she goes, she's quite strong, she's quite powerful.
But does it matter?
She thinks about it, and she goes, that's not our decision to make, is it?
It wasn't a question I just posed to you. You want the work to be continued. Have you thought of other variables? What's more important to you? Doctor?
If we were to replace someone on the throne, they would have to prove themselves to be much more powerful than the one who currently sits on it. Would you be able to identify such a person?
Of course. That is my specialty, to identify threats.
She says, in mine's eliminating them. You notice her turn to Arlone, and she's like, this conversation tires me. We can't keep you here. We're expecting a visit soon, and we're not prepared.
That's interesting.
You said that to me or to the...
She says that to you, and she's just kind of looking at Arlone. She goes, this one's not...
The bride said this to me? Sorry,
No, the doctor did.
Okay.
She kind of turned her back to you. She's examining Alrone, who's kept behind glass.
Who's coming?
They won't tell me. But I fear for the worst. And if they won't tell me, I'm scared for myself, she says. You know, she's shaking a little. She goes, I worry the work isn't proceeding fast enough. They'll replace me despite my heritage. She's very suspicious. She's on edge. You can tell she's suffering from paranoia. Probably from the lack of sleep.
Right.
And your heritage is what exactly?
Oh, she's descended from that person.
Jack
right?
Seward. Yeah, so in the original Dracula novel, she's like a granddaughter.
Okay. Daquan would just say then, as they kind of lean up against the wall. Well, here's the thing, Doctor. What do you value more? Your research and your goal to take out these diseases? Or some crumbling hierarchy that is potentially going to replace you? I suggest you come with me, consider what I've just said, and think of an alternative method to deliver your life-changing research. And if I can, I would like to use negotiate here.
All right. I'm gonna tell you how this goes down. So, attempting to negotiate with her, she sees this. She looks at you. She nods. She says, "I guess we really don't have much choice. We kill you for treason." And you notice she clicks a button. The glass drops, and the chair unlocks. And Alrone the vampire jumps. Meanwhile, the camera cuts to Jisoo and Hopkins.
Oh my god.
Downloading the mainframe. And that's where we're going to cut to black at the end of this episode.
Oh
Yes.
my god. Daquan, you have to release the other bride. They'll fight each other.
Right?
She's in the casket.
Yeah, they'll fight each other. Oh my
Sad,
god.
bloody and wounded.
All right. So that's our
This is so
session.
wild because neither of us, you were like, yeah, we're gonna go sneak, you'll handle this, would have expected her to sick the vampire bride on you.
Okay, wait. In that scene, did the doctor impale, like, murder Ileana, or just, like, wound her while she was in the coffin to get the blood?
Here's what your vampirology would let you know. Ileana can regenerate over time. So unless she's hit with a bane, it won't kill her. You know, a
Like
stake through the
silver.
heart might do it. So instead it's like, hey, this will hurt now. I'll punch you full of holes. They'll seal up.
I just wanted to double check.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is wild. So I am schmoozing,
Making coffee with the hound.
You're sneaking to get data, and you are now fighting a vampire bride.
When there's things to remember too, like Daquan's clever too. Like Daquan could throw the doctor into her, get out the door, lock it, pop open the casket, and be like, "Let them bitches fight." No.
and then run to the twinks. Run to the twinks.
Run.
Start throwing twinks like ninja stars.
Run to the SS Twink ship.
The good ship lollipop over there. All right.
I'm so glad I spent 5 points. That means they're high quality twinks.
They
We're
are
all trained in murder.
top of the line. So let me actually adjust your camera real quick, Sharon. So that's our session for the day. Hope everyone enjoyed it. So yeah, a 2-hour session, but we're coming up on the final arc. So let's go around. Did we enjoy the session today, and where can we find each other online? So let's start with Pro.
Yeah. So I am Pro Restarter. Thank you for having me. It's been super awesome. I played a Dick One today. Glad to have G Suit back and play with Jess and have everyone be around and with these shenanigans. It's always fun. You can find me on a few channels kind of coming up soon. There's going to be some things on that, so check out my Twitter at Pro Restarter. Everything is Pro Restarter, but you can also find me now on iTunes, which is which is Shadow of the Demon Lord, an actual play drama podcast. It's a full LGBTQ and POC cast. We have some great names in it: Jess, James Games, PB, Satan, and Imperator Pengu. Thank you all for having me.
You didn't give the name of it.
Shadows Arcanum.
Shadow of Arcanum. Yes. It's a super fun game. It's in the chat now, but yes, you can check that out. Once again, thank you for having me. I'm going to probably die next week, so my new character is going to be ready.
No.
Maybe I can use the money I got from my quick sponsorship. I'll plug if you want to play Nice Black Agents with me next Saturday. I'm running a game at noon Eastern time, and we can use those funds to buy new character art for Pro's new character. Jabari's got to feed themselves. Also, Jess, how are you? How was the session for you? You look wonderful.
It's so good. It's really good to be back. This is fabulous. I freaking love every moment of this game, honestly. A+ GMing, A+ players. We're just having a good time and being badasses and hopefully not dying. I would love for Daquan not to die. I didn't get my coffee date yet. Just saying. Yes, for me, yes, last time I was here, I didn't have a channel, but now we launched a all POC for POC by POC channel on Twitch called Hutopia.
Like color?
Yes.
Nice.
Very colorful. We're trying to do a little bit of everything. So Mariam is running a long-standing campaign in a custom South Asian inspired setting called Sarzamine, and then we've got one-shots every other week to fill in the gaps, and then we have all POC people talking about whatever they want to talk about in a panel format, whether that's game design or, anything beyond the Diversity 101 discussion. And we've got creator highlights where we talk to artists and designers about what they're doing and what they're making. So it's lovely. We're just babby streamers. We just got affiliate this week and we're trying to do a thing. You'll probably see us on Gen Con at some point, so keep an eye out. But thank you for having me here.
Well, as always, it's good to have you back, and you're off stealing all the great secrets of the Edom Conspiramid, while Sharong is schmoozing with the great enemy Hound of Edom as they share
I
part of their child.
some schmoozing skills. I'm bad at that. I'm very not good at that. So I'm Sharong Biswas. I had a good time today. I actually came in a little bit low energy, but I think the players noticed my energy went up in the game because of the cool stuff that was going on. I'm really glad we got to use poisons and gadgets in one session. And we got, of course, the Twinks and the beefcake. Probably the best part of the session. And I got to be rude to that horrible lady whose name I will not utter. But yeah. So that's cool. So I'm Sharong Biswas. You can find me on Twitter at Sharong Biswas. You can find me on Itch at Astralingus, and that's significant because currently I'm in a bundle that has 1 week left to go called Needles in a Gay Stack. It is a bundle of games by 4 queer designers, including Anna Anthropy, Cleo Davis, and Lucian Khan, who are all well known in the field. And we are donating 20% of everything from that bundle to Trans Needles, which is an organization that provides healthcare supplies to trans folks. You may know in the US, some legislation just got passed. It makes it harder for trans people to get healthcare. And I also want to plug Pelgrane just published last week Honey and Hot Wax, an anthology of erotic art games. It is 9 cool queer designers, of a diverse group of designers, making games about sex and sexuality, many of which you can play over whatever teleconferencing software you're using. So do check that out. Part of those proceeds, some proceeds go to all the artists in the game, all the game designers, but we also donate some of those proceeds to charities that promote sex education and things like that. So do check that out, Honey and Hot Wax. And Grant actually talked about it in one of his streams earlier this week or last week. So it is cool.
Particularly the layout makes the games very easy to follow, which is not always the case.
Yeah, we took a lot of care. We when we were chatting early on, we're like, it's more important for us to have good layout than it is for us to have more illustrations. So the illustrations are more minimal, like they're fewer, but the layout design has to be really good.
And I think it helps too. It allows me to offer my own interpretation artistically of how I envision these games in my head. It's a strength. So lastly, my name is Grant Ellis. I'm an independent content creator for tabletop role-playing games. I'm the lead designer on Grimworld by 2C Gaming. I produce shows here on WebDM's Twitch channel. If you follow me on Twitter at WisePapaGrant, I have a slate of games I'm looking to get produced. The best way to support me is by supporting the show. As we cycle links through the chat, by clicking on them, our publishers see that you are engaging and interacting with our promotions, and that encourages them to continue to support us as well. I may be relaunching a Patreon soon that will go to compensate the players of these games. Likewise, thankful for, to StartPlaying.games for a little bit of sponsorship money to put towards the show, and WebDM for hosting and offering us free social media support and YouTube support on the back end to make the show possible. If you're watching this on YouTube, the links for supporting the show will be beneath the video. If you want that 20% off voucher code, it's usually the first pinned comment. Likewise, we cycle these links through the chat. We will finish, as we always do, the outro will be the intro, and then we will raid. Stick around for the raid. We will raid Just G. Adios. Goodbye.